Welcome to Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help educate you about narcissistic abuse because your feelings do matter. Hi, and welcome to the first podcast of Narc Abuse No More for 2023 with your host, Doctor and Evangelist K.O. Rich. Thanks for tuning in today. Today is Monday, January the 2nd of 2023. I pray that you've had a blessed, stress-free, narcissistic-free, abuse-free week so far in the new year. And that the remainder of this week will continue to be so as well. But if not, we're going to be talking about a few things today. Again, my name is Dr. K.O. Rich with Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help you admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Yes, they do. But before we go on with today's podcast, I would like to invite you to visit us on our website at www.narcabusenomore.org. Again, that website address is www.narcabusenomore.org. And on our website, you'll find valuable information regarding narcissism, relationships, and if you have missed any of these podcasts, you can always catch them in the archives. Now, just to let you know again, we're on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes, Castbox, and Deezer, as well as Amazon Audible, Rumble, again, YouTube, and there's something I'm missing. I just forgot. YouTube, Rumble. Oh, Brighteon. Yeah, Brighteon. All right, so you have a variety of different platforms to listen to us from. And if all else fails, again, go directly to our website at www.narcabusenomore.org, or you can type in narcissisticabusenomore.com. Again, that's narcissisticabusenomore.com. All right, what are we talking about today for the beginning of the year? This is the first Monday of 2023. Now, many people are making their New Year's resolutions, and I'm not one for that. But the thing is that a lot of times they be broken off. They be broken by March. I give them up to March, and then it's already down the tubes. A lot of people. However, when you're dealing with narcissists, toxic people, toxic relationships, this doesn't need to be a New Year's resolution. This needs to be a daily resolution that I am not going to allow myself to be in this toxic environment any longer. That's right. You do not want to be in a toxic environment. So today we're going to be talking about how to deal with a breakup. How to deal with a breakup. Because let me just say this. Some of you knew that person that you were hanging around, that person that you were involved with, that person that you were in a relationship with, that person that was an abuser to you, you needed to get rid of them. You needed to get out of that relationship. And so therefore, some of you did. And some of you have written to me and let me know that, throughout the year that you got out of that toxic environment, that toxic relationship, which is great. And we always recommend you get out as safely as possible, because safety is key. Let me emphasize this, because people take for granted that other people will snap. They take for granted that other people will snap. Oh, that's just something I saw on the news. Well, that person probably thought that was something that they saw on the news at some point too, but it became their reality. And if you are in a hostile environment, a toxic, abusive environment, then we want you to be out of that as safely as possible. So I want to start off with giving you the information that you can get help, and that is www.thehotline.org. That's to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Their website, the website address is www.thehotline.org. You can also call 1-800-799-SAFE. Call them at 1-800-799-SAFE or 7233. TTY callers 1-800-787-3224. You can chat live with them, and you can also text the word START to 88788. Again, that's text the word START, that's START, to 88788. And anytime that you're leaving a domestically or abusive relationship, regardless of what type of abuse it is, you need to be very cautious with doing it as safely as possible. So today we're talking about dealing with breakups, and as always, I love to give you a website as to where you can get this valuable information: marriage.com, www.marriage.com. And many of us have been in relationships that we have possibly broken up from. Okay, the relationship didn't last, whether the person broke up with you or you broke up with them, or it was a mutual thing that you decide that this is not working. And so the relationships, breaking up in a relationship is not easy. Rather it's a dating relationship, rather it's a divorce. Even if you break up from maybe a relationship on the job, you might leave that job because that job is toxic. Many people have had to leave the workplace, because it was so toxic. You have bosses that feel like they can talk to you any kind of way, that you're the dirt underneath their feet, and so therefore they feel like they can treat you and talk to you any kind of way. I'm not talking about the military. We know the military is the military, but I'm talking about in the civilian world. You have maybe even churches. You may have had to break away from a church because it may have been a toxic environment at that particular church. So there are many situations where people have had to break away from something that they once loved, something that they once liked, people that they once cared for. And breaking up, it's not an easy thing. You deal with emotions, various emotions. You might be it might be stressful to you. You might be dealing with anxiety or panic because of it. So it brings about an array of painful emotions, difficult emotions, challenging emotions when you are breaking away from something or someone. However, sometimes people don't understand, and they might say, "Oh, well, just get over it." But breakups they're very painful. When someone has been married to someone they said "I do" to, and they expected to actually live through their golden years with this individual after they've gotten married, and the marriage doesn't last, and the marriage ends in divorce. It is a grief process that many people go through. Is almost like a death. It's the end of that relationship, and yes, it does hurt. Yes, it taps into that brain part of the brain chemistry that says this doesn't feel good, and so therefore you might experience the tears, the hurt, the guilt, the shame, the pain, all those things, an array of emotions. Sometimes people, when they break up with a person or a situation or relationship or organization, you can experience loneliness. People deal with maybe different types of anxiety, panic, depression, stress, worry, confusion. You might even be questioning yourself, because a lot of people that were in toxic relationships, they tied their self-worth to that individual who was the abuser. So now you're trying to rediscover yourself. You're trying to see, where do I fit in? Where am I now? What do I do now? You might have been maybe a homemaker, a housewife or whatever, and the spouse was the one that was bringing in the bacon, and now you're having to go out into the world and find your place. What kind of job can I do? I've been at home with the kids all these years. Now I haven't kept up with any skills, or don't have the skills that's marketable. So now I got to go to a school, or find a trade or something that I'm going to do. So there are a variety of different things that oftentimes people deal with when they have broken up with someone. However, life will go on, and you can still live a quality life. And especially if you have been in an abusive situation, you will find that regardless of, it might be challenging to get out there again and to move on past the breakup, but you will be all the better for it. So number one, I'm going to give you some tips for us dealing and coping with a breakup. Number one is acceptance. Acceptance. That's a hard thing to do, is to accept that the relationship that you invested in, the relationship that you thought was going to last, the relationship that you thought was going to be the last of all relationships. It might have been, again, you might have been thinking that this was going to be my job that I was going to retire on, and it didn't happen. The relationship, the toxic environment at the workplace may have been toxic. You might have married this individual and thought that this was going to be my this Romeo and, well, no, I ain't gonna say Romeo and Juliet. It might have ended like Romeo and Juliet, but this was going to be my knight in shining armor, or this was going to be my princess, and we were going to get old together and see our children and grandchildren and be on our rocking chairs, and you might have had all these plans, but then things didn't turn out that way. And so now you're saying, now I have to accept the fact that the plans that I had are not going to be, and so this relationship is over. And it's hard. It's not easy. There is no easy way to say accept it, but you have to at some point say and face the fact that the relationship is over. And the sooner that you're able to come out of denial, and because even with relationships, people often go through what we call the 5 stages of grief. The denial and the lack of acceptance, and the anger and all those things that go in with that. So accepting will help you. And another thing, when you're accepting, don't say that, oh, it's my fault. There was nothing that you possibly could do to change it. When you're dealing with toxic people and toxic environments, the only source of change that you're in control of is you. You can't control that toxic individual. You can't control that abusive person. You can't control that situation other than how you respond to it. And therefore, many of you, it may be best for you to take yourself out of the equation altogether when the other party is not willing to change. Number 2, do not pressure yourself. Many people might find that, oh, well, maybe if I had been a better wife, or if I had been a better husband, if I had been a better parent, or if I had been a better worker, if I had done this and that, you will constantly blame yourself and guilt trip yourself instead of believing that, hey, this is really for your own good, because the person whom you were in the relationship with, the organization that you may have been in the relationship with, was not the best for you. Therefore, do not blame yourself. Do not go on the guilt trip. Instead, believe that it must have happened because there's something better for you. You can't make someone love you. You can't make someone like you. You can't make someone value you. You can't make someone appreciate you. You just can't make anyone do anything that they don't want to do, whether it's an organization or individual. So therefore, do not pressure yourself by putting blame on yourself to say, well, you know what, it's all my fault. Because one of the things that narcissists, abusers, toxic individuals like to do, they like to deflect. Okay, instead of taking responsibility for their own actions in this relationship, they would blame you. It's all your fault. Have you ever heard anyone that never take responsibility for anything? They always blame the other person. They never look inside themselves and say, well, you know what? There's things that I did wrong, that I contributed to this mess that we're having right now. No, when you're dealing with toxic, immature individuals, they never look at themselves and say, you know what, this is something that I could have done better. This is something that I did. They will make you feel that even if you even mention that they have done something wrong, that you're to blame, that you're at fault, and it's all because of you that the relationship went sour. They will never take responsibility. So therefore, do not pressure yourself, blame or guilt trip yourself because of what someone else failed or that they did do. Number 3, stay healthy and stay positive. Do not, many people, there's times I've done it when, there was a relationship that didn't work out and you sit on the couch with your ding dongs and bonbons and Twinkies and all that kind of stuff. Don't get into that. Stay healthy, stay positive. That means if you need to go and work out the stress, if you need to go sign up for a gym membership to punch on a punching bag to take out some of that stress, do not isolate yourself where you're left alone to your own thoughts. Try not to do the pity party, the regrets. Focus on the positives, the things that you can do and move forward in life. That relationship may not have worked, but guess what? It's better to be alone and look forward to what's new than to be in a sour relationship where you're being abused, misused, devalued, depreciated, and not respected for who you are. So stay positive and know that, hey, I'm going to move on to bigger and better things. And try not to rush get into another relationship. I've seen people jump from one relationship to the next relationship to the next relationship. And that's not going to do anything for us filling the void that's inside of you. Number 4, find friends and family to talk to and share your feelings. Now, if you have those people that are a support group for you, then allow yourself to be able to reach out to them and allow them to be a part of your life. One thing that abusers love to do, they love to isolate you from your friends, your family, your loved ones, or those who care about you. But be around those people that support you, whether it's friends, family. If it was the family that was toxic, then be around friends. If it was friends that was toxic, then be around the family. Whatever it is, be around those who will help you to be the best person that you can be, that will love you, that will cherish you, that will value you, those that will treat you with dignity and respect, and that will not do anything to abuse or misuse you. Number 5, and then we're going to take a quick break. Stay away from alcohol and drugs. This is one thing that a lot of people might go to, and a lot of people do go to, in order to fill their void that is in their life. They may be going through a rough patch, and so they will go to the bottle, or they will go to the needle, or they will pop pills or whatever. That is not going to help your situation. It's only going to dig you into a deeper hole. You don't need the drugs. You don't need the alcohol. It's not going to solve anything. Don't allow yourself to sink that far. Again, look at the positives in life. You may have gone through a rough patch, but things will get better. You just have to put your best foot forward. That person It's not the person that was abusive, the person that may have cheated on you, lied to you over and over again, the person that did not love you the way that you should have been loved. Guess what? It's their loss. But love yourself enough not to allow yourself to be further abused by the abuse that you would give yourself if you go to the bottle, if you go to the drugs, if you go to a lifestyle that would basically be unbecoming to you being productive in life. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in just a moment.
Of your hand makes my pulse react. That it's only the thrill of boy meeting girl opposites attract. It's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than that. What's love got to do? Got to do with it. What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? It may seem to you that I'm acting confused when you're close to me. If I tend to look dazed, I read it someplace. I've got cause to be. There's a name for it. There's a phrase that fits. But whatever the reason, you do it for me. Oh, what's love got to do? It's got to do with it. What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do? It's got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? I've been taking on a new direction, but I have to say, I've been thinking about my own projection. It scares me to feel this way. Oh, what's love got to do? It's got to do with it. What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? What's got to do? Got to do with it. What's love but a sweet old-fashioned notion? What's love got to do? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? Ooh, got to do with it. Second-hand emotion. What's love got to do? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken?
And it's Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it? And Tina Turner, if you all had ever watched a movie portrayed by Angela Bassett of Tina Turner's life and or read her biography, I think she got a biography. I never read the biography, but she went through abuse with her husband Ike Turner, and she finally left the relationship and moved on to better things for us getting out of that abusive environment. Number 6, pick new hobbies and try new experiences. You may have been held back from being able to get your education, work a job, go on vacations. You may have not been able to fulfill the hobbies or passions that you had in your life, and this is part of the control that many abusers want. They want to isolate you, keep you from pursuing things. Some of them because of it's their insecurities and their intimidation of what you can achieve. So therefore they feel if I can keep you back, if I can hold you back, if I can keep them from moving forward in life, then I will no longer have that control. So when you have left this relationship, this is the time when you can experience new things and enjoy life. There's no sense in being sad over, and again, I'm not saying that it's normal to be sad over a relationship being broken. However, look at the positives of now I can live my life to the fullest. I don't have anyone that's holding me back. I don't have someone that's abusing me, someone that's putting me down, someone that's not valuing who I am as an individual. Number 7, think of a future for yourself. Again, be careful with jumping from one relationship to the next relationship. That future may not be with anyone. It may be, hey, I've been in relationships, they didn't work out, or whatever the case may be, and this might be time for you to get to know yourself again, for you to plan a future that is toxic free. And if you're not able to be with someone that can be positive in the relationship, that's not going to bring any type of abuse. I'm talking about abuse, whether it's verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse. If you're not able to be in a relationship or with an organization, that could be a workplace, that could be a church. If you're experiencing abuse in any situation, then that is not the type of situation that you want to be in that's going to be productive for your future. So think about a future for yourself where you're free from the drama, the stress, and all those things that came with that toxic relationship. Number 8, convince yourself that you will find happiness again. You will find joy again. We know that in the Bible lets us know that the joy of the Lord is our strength. Know that you can be happy. One thing that toxic individuals love to make you feel is if you're not going to find anyone that's like them. And guess what? You don't want to. That said, you'll never find anyone to love you like I do. Well, guess what? I don't want no one to love me like you do, because it's not love. It's toxic. It's poison. And every day that you're in this unhealthy relationship, it's like arsenic, and you're slowly dying. You're slowly killing yourself in this toxic relationship. But after you have broken up and you're no longer in this toxic environment, then guess what? You can be happy again. You can be joyous again. You can be in a place where God would have you. Now, I want to make a mention to, I need to say this, and this is to those who are Christians. There are people that in the Christian community that will try to keep you in an abusive relationship because they scare you with God does not want divorce. And let me just say this. The Bible does say that God hates divorce. He does. He also hates when someone sheds innocent blood, because many of you, if you've been beat on, you've had probably some broken bones, some broken teeth, some bloodshed. God hates violence. Okay, so God does not want you to be in a violent relationship. And therefore, let me just say this, because I see people misquoting scripture, misusing scripture. And one thing that Cain was punished for in the beginning in Genesis was because he killed his brother. God hates violence. Even in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill. All right. So another thing is that when you are in a relationship where it's abusive, God is not telling anyone to stay in that abusive relationship. In the Bible, the Apostle Paul said, husbands, love your wives as Christ loves the church, and wives, submit to your husbands. But let me clarify that. Paul was not telling a woman to submit to a fist. Paul was not saying submit to a slap in the face. Paul was not saying submit to being kicked, punched, bit, thrown around. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church means that as Christ loves us, because Jesus is not abusing any of us. He took the abuse upon himself so that we don't have to. Come on now. Be careful what you're listening to. There's a fear that, if I leave my spouse, separate from my spouse, get divorced from my spouse, that God is going to hate me. And that is not true. God hates divorce. He does. He doesn't like it. But God doesn't say stay in an abusive relationship either. And so therefore, if you have to leave that relationship, I know, let me put it like this. For those who may have some feelings about that, well, if I leave this person and separate from this person or divorce this person because they're being abusive to me, then I'm doomed to be alone. I will put it like this. If it is better to be alone than to be in an abusive relationship. People need to stop telling folks to stay in abusive relationships just because you're misquoting scripture or misusing scripture for your own diabolical purposes. If someone is putting their hands on you, and I'm not talking about to anoint you with oil, anything other than that, is do not stay in a physically abusive relationship. And then some of the very ones that are quoting this and misquoting it, they are doing so because they're the abusers themselves. They're the narcissists themselves. They're closet narcissists, covert narcissists. And so therefore they're using scripture to try to keep people in bondage. Do not allow yourself to stay in a relationship because you feel that, I have no out. The church is going to condemn me. My family is going to condemn me. My friends are going to condemn me. Do not stay in an abusive relationship because of other people. Number 9, accept the grief. Grief is a part of breaking up. It's like a death. When you break up with someone, you love that person, you was, committed to that person, and then things didn't work out, then yes, you have to grieve. It's part of the natural healing process. Grief is part of healing. So do not feel bad because you are grieving this loss. It is a loss. Do not allow anyone to make you feel, just get over it. Who gets over a death? And in this case, this was the death of a relationship. Grieve as you must, but don't stay in the grief. Allow it to be part of your healing process. Yes, it is normal to grieve the loss of a relationship, the death of a relationship, the breakup of a relationship. Number 10, don't rush the process. Take your time. If you need time to heal, let me say this. Heal before you get involved with someone else. If you need to go get counseling, if you need to be in a support group, do this before you get involved with someone else. Oftentimes people take their baggage from past relationships, bringing it to the new relationship, and then that person is also bringing things and maybe compiling things, or if they don't have any baggage at all, but you're the one bringing it to the relationship, then that's going to cause the demise of that relationship. Ensure that you heal yourself, be healed yourself, before you get involved in another relationship, whether it's a good relationship with a person who is not toxic, or someone to prevent you from being involved in another toxic relationship. You got to go through the healing process. Don't rush the process. Take your time. Get to know yourself again. Get to know what you want again. Pray to God and ask God to help you and reveal things to you, and not to allow you to get into the wrong relationship, but the right one that's ordained by Him. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Take a little time to think things over. I better read between the lines in case I need it when I'm older. Mountain I must climb feels like the world upon my shoulder. Through the clouds I see love shine. It keeps me warm as life grows colder. In my life there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again.
love is, and that is by Foreigner. And it is important for you to know what love is, because when you don't know what love is, then you will accept anything. For those of you, you might say, well, I really don't know what love is. And I always tell people, go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and it breaks it down for you, what love is. Number 11, don't stalk them on social media. When you break up with someone, you've left that relationship, don't try to keep tabs on them. Don't try to find out what they're saying, what they're doing, who they're with, and all that. That is unproductive. Let them go on about their business, and you go about yours. You start your life anew, because if you're trying to keep tabs onto them and you find them moving on with somebody else, or they're not even thinking about you, or whatever the case may be, then that's going to cause more emotions your way. So don't stalk them on social media. If they're on your social media, unfriend them, block them, whatever the case may be, so that you will not be keeping tabs with what they're doing. That's the only way to get on with your life. Number 12, get busy. Don't be idle. There's a saying that, where's that saying that the idle hands is the devil's busy shop, or something along that line? I probably got it backwards, but but the thing is that get busy. Don't leave yourself to your own thoughts. Make sure that you're being productive. Again, find hobbies, go on vacations, join the gym, go to the park, be with friends. Get busy so that you're not focused on that particular individual. Number 13, remain socially active. That means that don't isolate yourself with popcorn and sodas and hot dogs and all that stuff just because you're being depressed and you're idle. Try to be around other people. It's easy to get into that mentality after a breakup. But surround yourself with people that's going to make you laugh, that's going to take your mind off of things. Get busy, join an art class or something that you've wanted to do that's going to bring a smile on your face. Get a pet, adopt a pet, walk a dog, something. Adopt somebody else's dog. Get involved with something that's going to help to keep you out of that slump that's so easy to be in after a breakup. Number 14, write a journal. Write in your journal. Get a journal. Express your feelings. Express your emotions. In the journal, you can talk to someone. In the journal, you can talk to yourself and write down how you're feeling. And then you'll see a year from now, you're like, I was in a low place at that time, but now look where I'm at now. Because it does get better. Healing takes time, and it does get better with time. There's a saying that time heals all wounds. And truly, time does heal wounds. Yes, when you're dealing with the death, it's not to say that you won't get over that person's death, because that person, whether you lost a parent, a sibling, a spouse, or something like that, that you will carry that with you, but it gets easier. It gets easier. So it's the same thing with a breakup. It gets easier. And when you're dealing with a breakup, eventually you won't even think about that person anymore. Or even if they cross your mind, that's all it's going to be. It's just a forethought. Last but not least, number 15, get help. If you're having a hard time dealing with your emotions after a breakup, talk to a counselor, talk to a therapist, talk to someone who can help you to move forward in the right direction. Everyone can't do it by themselves. I will first tell you to pray, talk to God, and then talk to someone, talk to a therapist. You might say, I don't want to talk to my friends. I don't want to talk to family. I want to talk to someone who won't judge, who won't be negative about whatever the situation is. And that is fine. Sometimes you can open up better with a stranger than you can with someone you know. Get help, get therapy, talk to someone. You don't have to tell anyone, oh, I'm going to a therapist. It's nobody's business but yours. Talk to someone so they can help you to get on the right path, so that you can live the best life that God has for you to live. And you will see that once you do that and you take all these things that we talked about today into consideration and do them, that you will be the better for it. All right, we are up out of here. I pray this. Excuse me. I pray that today's podcast was a blessing to you, and that you will know that guess what? Your feelings, they do matter. This is Dr. K.O. Rich with Narc Abuse No More, helping you to admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse. Merry New Year. Happy New Year 2023. Until next time, you be blessed.